Alright everyone, welcome back to the layout. Got another episode here on the progress, the updates, and an overall show and tell of the layout. So as you can see, there's been a lot that has been done over the course of the last few days between the episodes. If you guys have been watching the channel, I've been doing some updates on how far we can take Digitrax. And if you've been watching my live streams on the Icy Rails podcast, you guys can kind of see some of the improvements that I made to the layout. Kind of a sneak peek, but today we're going to talk about all those changes, and then we're going to look at kind of the way forward. So some changes that I made, as you can see, we've got a new double head signal here that I've replaced, and then kind of some other updates. We do have a functioning full circle of the layout. And as you can see, we have started to expand our sidetrack here. So that way, I can actually have a siding to park trains on. And the good news is, I finally found some cork to actually make my roadbed here to extend all the way across. So I've got that in today. There was a big kind of distribution shortage of road beds, but I was finally able to acquire some so we can continue with the layout. So, and we have our engineer, or let me see, the boss of the layout here. This is Mary, my supervisor. She's following me around as I watch and record this. And so you can see I've been doing some modifications. We do have some, these are old school wired security cameras. And this is a very old system. This is like 10 years old. This is by Swan. I'm not even sure if that company exists anymore, but this is the Swan box. And basically I take it to a basically 10-year-old capture hodgepodge card, and that allows me to capture all of the cameras on this layout. I've got 4. I can go up to 9, which is cool. And so that's kind of the way forward. But again, it depends on latency when it comes to the uploading of all that. So yeah, we'll see if we can actually make that work. And it looks like the boss is contemplating a few things. Let's not do that, okay? I know you want to jump on it. Over here, the plan is I'm going to put a switch track. I've been contemplating this idea for a couple times, putting a switch track here, so that way we can get access to this siding here. Because again, in theory, come on, cat, no, go that way. In theory, we should be having 3 rails on all of our corners, because that's the original design of these modulars when I bought them. So it's kind of, I'm hoping we can make that work. Again, this layout is going to change several times, because sometimes I'm satisfied with it, sometimes I'm not satisfied with it. So it just depends. The layout is going to change a couple times. Yes, do you want to jump? No. Okay, come here. Go down that way. Anywho, I am officially retiring the aircraft carrier design here. We're going to take it to full scale, which I'll show you in a minute. Let's go ahead and come down. Hi, boss. The Mary. Okay. So we also do, I think the last video I didn't show you this, but Phoenix Point is now operational. It is on the layout, and I am very excited for this. And what's funny is that, you know, I think this is going to be the module that's going to be here. In that particular case, I may end up replacing this one, so that way we can get access to this 3rd rail. So that way I can get even more siding in yards. Because again, this is my template for all the corners. This is the original design from the original owners. I want to make sure that it is finished as such. So over here we have our cleaning train. So this is our CMX clean machine. Right now I'm using 90% alcohol. Again, I'm not going to get into the discussion of which cleaner to use. My recommendation is try all the other recommendations out there and figure out what works best for your layout. I've used mineral spirits, which is meh. I've using 90% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and it's worked. It's cleaned everything up. So the whole intent behind this train, let me back up a little bit. So the whole purpose of this train, you got the vacuum car, which basically vacuums all the loose debris. You got the CMX cleaning machine, which then with the alcohol allows to actually scrub the top of the rail to make it nice and clean. You have a centerline roller that picks up all the excess residue and liquid from this machine, picks it up, and then we got 3 basically pad cars to pick up any other residue, wipe it up, and so forth. And it has worked actually fairly well. Most of these rails, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it is super shiny. I've ran it a couple times on this layout already and haven't had any issues with like dead spots or anything, so it's fantastic. I love that train, and one of these days I'll showcase it, but I'm still kind of experimenting, making sure I get everything working correctly before I get a full video on it. So that is kind of the updates there. And so over here, again, here's the boss, Mary. How you doing, Mary? So over here is the brains of the system. So basically we have moved the experiments over there, and now we are actually going full scale with all the experimentation. So I got a DCS52 that's connected via the programming wires to a programming track. If you guys didn't see my last Digitrax episode, I have burned and fried my PR4, which I'm a little salty about, but now I'm using a DS52 for all my programming on this track. We've got a PM74 that I'm using for all my block detection. So what I'm doing is this modular is isolated, this modular is isolated, testing range is also isolated. So I put isolator rails on top. I've also disconnected the connections underneath, and those are actually going straight from my PM74 to give me block detection. Here is the SE74. It is also connected. Again, I took my terminal breakout board and then use it to convert into the cable here that goes to the double signal head over there. Again, I'm planning to expand upon that. I've got at least several more slots that I can use to further that project along. Got LNWI, which is always required if you want to go wireless, which again, I cannot recommend enough how much this has changed my throttle control. So definitely worth the investment to get an LNWI if you have a small scale layout. Big scale layout, you may need to get a couple more and kind of locate it in the central of the layout. But again, small scale, perfect size in my opinion. All the tools that I use to wire and so forth. And yeah, and so also what's cool is that we have complete control. Well, not necessarily control yet, but we're getting there. So this is JMRI. I've got my three blocks of detection here. I can change my states. Let me see if this is cooperating. Yep, so as you can see down there, I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera, but I've got the red, yellow flash in there, which is pretty cool. Again, I got to tweak it a little bit to make sure it works properly, but overall, this is working as intended. Let's see if it's both green over here. Yeah, so it's a little bit glitchy, and the reason being is because the way you power up the DCS52, when you go to shut down, you got to make sure that you move the USB and then turn off the power, because if you just leave power from the USB, then it messes up the programming. And so you got to recycle and reset and recycle power to all of your equipment at the same time, so that way the lights function. So right now it's kind of a downfall to this setup. I'm still kind of tweaking it a little bit to make sure that that doesn't become an issue in the future, but eventually I'm not going to have a controller connected to the computer per se. It's going to be through a PR4 or a separate independent command system from the programming track, so, and from JMRI. Just a couple things I'm working on tweaking. So that is basically the brains of everything. And yes, the SE74 does interact with JMRI, and through, let me see if I want to, no, I'll leave it as a spoiler, or I'll keep it as a cliffhanger. So yes, anyways, the SE74, there's a trick that you gotta do with JMRI so that way it works. We'll talk about that on the next episode of how far can we take Digitrax, because I want to talk about that more in that series. So anyways, that's the brains, and eventually we'll upgrade this to a proper command system, and I've decided to go with 2 boosters for this layout. So that's kind of the plan for the future over there. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So again, the layout is coming along. I was able to get the more road beds, so that way we can get our proper sightings. Eventually I've got some more wireless controls here. Again, you can blame Heath from Humanity Junction on voice controls, because now I'm completely addicted to voice controls. Because basically when I come upstairs, I can just say, hey Google, you know, turn on or off the layout or outlets to the layout, because you can configure all sorts of cool things. And when I'm done with everything, I just tell, hey, shut off, and shuts off all my equipment. So I basically have Google Nest integrated power strips. I've got, again, the wall outlets. There's another wall outlet that's Google Nest compatible. And yeah, I've been severely addicted to voice control up here because it has made life so much easier, to say the least. So yeah, I am thoroughly excited about this layout. We are definitely going, block detection is going good. Again, you can see my isolators there. Again, traffic lights are kind of spurious, or going kind of crazy there, but again, more troubleshooting to get all the bugs out. This is all kind of theoretical right now, and you know, we'll figure it out. See green on that side. And again, it all comes down to programming logic, block detection. Right now it's in its conceptual phase, and I still have to get the rest of these modulars isolated and get block detection up and going. Now, unfortunately, in order to do that, I have to really upgrade the brains of the system, because I need a much bigger block detector. I think it's the BPX88 or something. I can't remember the exact name of it, but obviously you guys will correct me. Again, shout out to Thomas F, who suggested that particular device. That is definitely something I'm going to grab, because it also has block detection along with circuit breaker protection. So with the PM74, I'm going to grab that, but that requires a basically a command center to set it all up. Again, you can use different methods to wire it up. There's so many different ways of doing it, but again, the purpose of the How Far Can We Take Digitrax is to use Digitrax products, so that way I can show it to you guys one way of doing DCC. So that's the eventual plan, is to get a command station 240 plus, along with two 220 boosters, digital boosters, or DBs, or dumb boosters as I like to call them. And so that way we can get our rest of the layout with block detection. Now, obviously, there's going to be some interesting facts when it comes to the sightings. Do I want them to have block detection? There's going to be some special wiring I'll have to do underneath that I may showcase. I'm still kind of debating. But basically, these modulars are going to be configured for two different styles. It'll be converted from my style, which is basically isolating each individual module to one central command station, brain system, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll keep it configured in a way that if I want to take this to a show, I can simply rewire what's underneath here, and that way the power and everything can go through freely, like a normal Fremo NMRA style modular layout. So that is kind of the way forward for this. But yeah, definitely excited. I've still got a lot of work to do with the road bed. We'll continue to extend the road beds here. That's kind of going to be on the next episode. So make sure we connect it to here, and so connect all the way down to here. So I think my next thing I need to buy is more track. I don't think I have enough Pico code. Oh my goodness, I forgot the code number. I think it's code, oh my goodness, I'm brain farting on my code numbers. I know it's over here somewhere. Let me take a look at the box. Code 83, there we go. Yep, code 83 Pico. So you have to get some more, because I think I'm running, yeah, I got about half a box left. So this is something I'm going to have to order more of. But yeah, I am definitely excited. See, I got some camera set up there. But yeah, I think that is all for this update. Thank you guys so much for following the series. The channel's definitely been blowing up, and I greatly appreciate all you guys' support, all the comments that you're making, all the suggestions. Definitely encourage it. Oh yeah, and there's one thing I forgot to mention. So yeah, we've got the whole shelf that is now gone from that corner, and eventually we'll add more of these IKEA shelves to the walls, so that way we have more storage up and out of the way, so that way again I can take inventory, see what I have, and you know, just kind of be on display, which is pretty cool. And I got everything kind of tucked away back in that closet. Beginner's run, obviously modular, no longer needed, so I put it away. But yeah, I am definitely excited for this layout. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that is everything I wanted to showcase to you guys today. But again, a whole bunch more to come. Again, if you want to learn more about Digitrax, my next, hopefully, video will be coming out soon on the brains of the system. And we'll talk about more about JMRI integration after I get all of these bugs kind of figured out and ironed out. So, alright, and with that, that is your update for the modular, for the Icey Railroad Dragon modular layout, whatever you want to call it. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.